Hey everybody, Venom001 here. I was asked today in the live stream whether I would be doing a vehicle specializations video, talking a bit more about the specs you'll be able to get in Battlefield 3 for the air and land vehicles. So I thought, yeah, why not? I may as well do it. I'm kind of sitting here all bored, so I thought I'd do it. So I start out with the coaxial machine gun and heavy machine gun. Now I put those both together because I'm guessing they are the same type of thing that we saw in Battlefield Bad Company 2, where you have the coaxial weapon, you know, the alternate weapon spec in a tank, and you'd have the coaxial gun. I'm guessing the heavy version will just probably mean, not too sure. Now you got to remember this is all 99.9% guesswork and a little bit of research on actual terms and that used in the military for certain objects, certain, you know, equipment. So I'm going off guesswork here. I'm guessing it will be just a heavier version of the coaxial gun. Now next up here we have canister shells. Now from my research on them, I believe it's like a shotgun for tanks in a way. Kind of like anti-personnel, a shotgun round for a tank. Like I think it has about 100 tungsten balls inside, and you shoot that into, you know, a group of enemy soldiers and they're pretty much fucked. I'm guessing you could probably use it on airborne vehicles as well. Choppers probably would be a good target for those. Now I'm not sure whether you'll be able to have multiple versions of different shells because there are other types of shells in the game. And speaking of which, we have the guided shells. Now those shells that I have there listed on screen are just the types of guided shells that exist in reality. Whether they'll be in Battlefield 3 or not, I don't know. Now what a guided shell means is once it's fired, it's kind of fire and forget. Okay, it guides itself to its target. That would be a great, but see what I mean about I'm not sure whether you'll be able to have multiple versions. I mean, will you be able to have like a canister shell and the guided shells as well? Or will it be, you know, one or the other? Okay, moving right along, got a lot to get through here. We got zoom optics. Now, we all know what zoom optics are, so I don't think I need to go too much into detail. We've seen them in Battlefield Bad Company 2. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. We all know what that is. Okay, next we got thermal optics. Now I'm sure everybody knows what thermal optics do. In case you don't, every vehicle, human on the battlefield will give off some sort of heat signature, and these optics allow you to read that, you know, that heat source and find your target in amongst, you know, trees and even at distance. Okay, we have IR smoke. Now that simply is a smoke screen that hides a soldier vehicle from infrared light in the infrared light spectrum. So yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory what that does as well. Now next up we have reactive armor. Now reactive armor is a plate that sits on the outside of the tank. It's full of explosives, sometimes not. There is inert reactive armor that doesn't have explosives inside. But when an object, an enemy tank shell, hits that reactive armor, the explosive goes off and that dissipates the impact of the shell and stops it from penetrating inside the tank. So that's what reactive armor is. Now this one here, maintenance, I'm really not sure about, so I can't really comment on. I'm guessing it probably is repair times maybe, so I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to speculate too much. Okay, here's another one I'm not too sure about, is belt speed. I'm guessing only that it would have something to do with machine guns, maybe the exterior machine guns on fixed positions outside the tank. Okay, next up is thermal camo. Now, thermal camo will protect you from thermal imaging sensors, so you can pretty much hide anywhere. I don't know if soldiers will be able to have thermal camo as well, but vehicles definitely will be able to. Okay, here we have the autoloader. Now, auto-loading is, you know, auto-loading shells. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I need to really go into it. Okay, the proximity scan. We're all familiar with the electronic scan that you would have in Battlefield Bad Company 2. You can see enemy soldiers around you, so I guess that's very similar and probably exactly the same actually. Okay, next up is the CITV station. Now, what that means is when you're in a tank, I'm guessing it only a tank, probably maybe the lav as well, probably only tank though. I really think just a tank. The commander, because there are 3-person seat tanks, so the commander will be able to scan for targets independent of what everybody else is looking at. That's what the CITV station will do for him. The air-to-ground missile launcher, that will be for planes, so it can engage ground targets. Okay, now this one's a mouthful. That's what she said. No, whatever. We got the APFSDST shells. Okay, that's armor-piercing, fin-stabilizing, discarding sabot tracer. Now what that means is just a simple armor-piercing shell that's fin-stabilized. That's pretty much it, mate. It's just an AP shell. Now, guided rockets. I think that will probably end up being with aircraft. I don't really know for sure. It may be a specialization that you use with the laser designator. I'm really not sure. So I put a big question mark next to that one. Air radar, that's pretty self-explanatory, I think. Okay, Heatseekers. Now, whether they'll be on helicopters or just aircraft, I think probably only the planes. But yeah, pretty self-explanatory what Heatseekers are. Now, laser painter. I'm guessing that will probably be with the aircraft to designate ground targets and guide probably rockets, maybe missiles in. I'm not really sure. Probably the specialization I'm most looking forward to using is the TV missiles. I don't know, mate. If you haven't seen them, yeah, in for a fucking surprise, because they're just a shitload of fun. I've used them before in other games. They're just so much bloody fun. I can't wait to use them in Battlefield 3. Now, next is IR flares. I think they're pretty self-explanatory. They'll be for aircraft to get rid of heat-seeking missiles. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory, that one. Now this one's kind of interesting. Extinguisher. Now that could be for both land and air. Putting out fires, you know, pretty important wherever you are. Now next we have the ECM jammer. Now, I'm guessing that will interfere with the enemy's radar and that, so they can't pick you up. Maybe even disrupt thermal imaging equipment. I'm not really sure, because it disrupts all electronics, so possibly, I don't know. Now this specialization right here has me very interested. It's a rocket guidance system. Now whether that ties back in with the guided rockets from before, I don't really know, but I'm guessing the two do tie in, and if that's true, does that mean you can have 2 specializations on a vehicle? Be very interesting to see some of the combinations people come up with if you have 2 of them. Be some very unique combinations, I believe. Okay, now this one has me really baffled. Below radar. I have no fucking clue, so I'm sorry, but I guess maybe ground radar, like for planes, they can pick up ground targets. It's the only thing I could really think about with that one. Okay, getting towards the end here, but now we've got guided missile. Now I think guided missile will probably be brought in by a laser designator, laser painter. So probably be one of the probably recons, you know, probably have the laser designator, and they'll be able to bring in these missiles onto target. Now, I'm not sure about air. Maybe the air will have some sort of guided missile, but then again, they already have the air-to-ground missile, so, you know, kind of redundant to have 2 like that. Finally, we got beam scanning here. Beam scanning, what I'm guessing with that is there's going to be a lot of infrared pointers and laser designators on the battlefield from aircraft and, you know, soldiers and that sort of stuff. So I'm guessing this will let you know if you're in a vehicle that IR pointer or a laser designator has been locked onto you, and you're probably going to have a missile incoming. So that's all I can really think about with that. So if you've made it all the way to the end, I thank you very much, and I appreciate you watching it. So I'll catch you again next time, and thanks for watching.